So I started the 100-Year Lifestyle because a 100-year-old man changed my life. I didn't know, this was at the time, this is 25 years ago. I didn't even know that 100-year-old people existed. But this guy came into me, 98 years old, crippled, broke, and alone. Had no idea whether or not we could help him in our chiropractic office, but we did. And this cripple ended up moving, walking, smiling, happy, pain lines went away. It was really fabulous. And he never missed an appointment. One day, he missed an appointment. We wondered, Max, where did you go? No sign. Nobody answered. A year later, now he's 100 years old. It started when he was 98. He came back at 100 years old, looking exhausted. He came up to me in my office, shook my hand, said, "Thank you, Dr. Plasker, thank you," like he had done so many times before, and died right there in the reception room. Called 911, ambulance came, took him away, never to be heard from again, except I couldn't get it out of my head that if Max had known that he was going to live to be 100, when he was 50, 60, 70, or 80, or even 10 or 20, how would he have lived differently so that he didn't get there crippled, broke, and alone? And the 100-Year Lifestyle was born. We asked the question, if you knew you'd live to 100, how would you change your life today? And here we are. There are so many pearls of wisdom in the 100-Year Lifestyle that I learned from Max, and the question that I asked, which was, if you knew you'd live to 100, how would you change your life today? And the key word really is change, because the 100-Year Lifestyle is about change. And so we have seen people at all ages literally make a decision to change their life. And what I learned, one of the key things that I learned are the 3 life-changing principles of the 100-Year Lifestyle. The first one is the magnet principle. And that's when you have 2 magnets with the 2 north poles touching each other, no matter how hard you try to hold it together, the magnets push away, because that's the natural law of magnetism. But if you flip one of the magnets around, you just change your perspective, second 50 style, right? Now, instead of requiring energy to hold them together, now it requires energy to pull them apart. That's the magnet principle. So when you change your perspective on the second 50 and what it really means to you, what it could mean to you, your best is yet to come. There are so many faulty premises about aging. They say, well, you're just living on borrowed time. It's not borrowed time. It's birthright time. We were destined from the moment of conception to have the blueprint, literally, to live an active, healthy life to 80, 90, 100 years and beyond. But if you think you're only supposed to live to 65, then retire for 2 years and die, when you get to 70, you think you're living on borrowed time, and you wake up the next day and like, is today the day? And then you don't do anything all day because you think today's the day, and then you go to sleep at night and you wake up the next day and say, is today the day? Well, that's why one of the principles that we've talked about in the 100-Year Lifestyle is the compelling principle. Have a compelling vision for your life. Retirement is an outdated concept. Literally, your best work is yet to be done. You have wisdom. You know, wisdom is not overrated in this crazy world where you have people with really insane, crazy ideas that are charismatically represented, and they turn out to not be really good ideas. So wisdom, we need the wisdom of the aged. We need the energy of the youth. So we talk a lot about, in the 100-Year Lifestyle, blending those circles where you have wisdom and you have energy of youthfulness. And that's why grandkids are great, which I have 2 now, which is absolutely fantastic. One thing that we tell people all the time is healthier going in, healthier coming out. Meaning that if you do the right things to take care of yourself and you don't wait for a crisis, let this be your crisis, that you're getting a wake-up call. But if you wait for a crisis and you have an injury or a sickness or something, it's a lot harder, more painful to get through it. But if you're healthier going in, you will be healthier going out. It's fantastic to understand that and take action steps today. Well, what I realized with the 100-Year Lifestyle as a brand and the books that we write and the doctors that we train around the world is that we can make a difference in places all over the world without ever even being there. There are people that I will never meet that their lives have been changed because of the work that we're doing. To me, that's the legacy of those communities thriving because of the work that we've done. And like I've said, history will determine whether we did a good job or not. But right now, I feel like we're making a really big difference. I have an important message for second chancers. There are so many people that have gotten to 40, 50, 60, maybe even 70, and they had something happen to them that they feel like maybe it was a sickness, an illness, a diagnosis, something, an accident, a divorce, a bankruptcy, something that affected them physically, mentally, socially, spiritually, so many different levels, financially, so many different levels. You have a second chance. You have now, let's say you're 60. Well, you get to start fresh with 60 years of wisdom. You won't make that mistake again. If you're 70, maybe you'll change the way you eat. Maybe you'll change the way you take care of your posture, how frequently you get adjusted, how you take care of yourself, your exercise program. The thing is, it's really about change. And I always say this every year, starting the year, you're still here. So why not make the most of every day along the way and act like you got another 10, 20, 30 years ahead of you, and watch, you just may. So right now I'm 62 years old. I feel like I'm 50 or younger. And this is after last year I had a very shocking, surprising cardiac incident. I have a family history of heart disease. My father had a heart attack at 49. His father had a heart attack at 49. I had no signs of heart disease. I still don't have signs of heart disease, in my opinion. What happened was I had food poisoning. And food poisoning, it caused a vomiting, like really aggressive vomiting and stress in my body. And I literally felt like if you've ever been a skier and slipped down a mogul run, like boom, 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 sliding down the hill, that's what I felt like happened to my heart. And so I went to the hospital, which I didn't want to do, but I did. I got really good care. But what I could tell you is, to this day, I never, ever felt like I had heart disease or a cardiovascular disease. I think in so many ways we get labeled these things. I had food poisoning that triggered a cardiac incident. I have a cousin who had a drug reaction to Vioxx, caused a cardiac condition that he ended up with pacemakers, things like that. And so we get mislabeling of all of these things, and I'm not saying that they're doing a bad job necessarily saving people, because they are saving some people. But the mislabeling is a problem. It affects your ability to get life insurance. It affects your ability to do all these other things. When the reality for me, since that incident, I've been skiing 8,000, 9,000 feet, 40 miles an hour going down the mountain, hitting the mogul runs again. I can do anything and everything that I ever wanted to do. When I started taking medication that they gave me, which I took for one day, I couldn't breathe from the medication. I said, I'm not taking medication. I've never taken medication. I'm not taking it now. I just threw it away. And so I feel younger than I ever have before. I feel healthy, and second chances are really good. I've always considered myself a spiritual person, but I find that as time goes on, I appreciate that faith, trust in a higher power than me more than ever. And as I get more wisdom in my life, I rely on that, because I realize that, you know what, something's looking over us. Somebody's watching over us. There is that spiritual force in the world. And I find when I try too hard mentally, intellectually, I push things away. But when I let go and I trust God, I trust innate intelligence, I trust that innate within me, that gut feeling, things always work out better, smoother, much more fun, much more exciting, with a lot less stress along the way. I think about legacy a lot, but I don't think about leaving one. I think about living one. I really believe that if I'm going to live to 70, 80, 90, 100 years old, I don't know how long I'm here for, that I want to live this legacy. And I feel like I have been doing that. I feel like being back for Second 50 Part 2 or Second 50 Live Inspired, that we were really at the center of a movement, that we were one of the originators of this movement in many ways. And so I love that I'm still here, and I feel like I feel like your Second 50, that we have been living this legacy and we are still alive to experience it, and we're just starting to figure a few things out. So legacy to me is I'm going to let history determine my legacy after I'm gone. I'm going to live my legacy every day.